Hello, Mr. Wiborowski here with a video on how to graph linear, exponential, and quadratic equations in Geogebra. So, I'd love for you to get out your phone and follow along. And you can pause the video and try some of the same equations on your own screen with Geogebra. So let's get started. Okay, so the way we get started is our input is in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and the application is set up with the idea that you are inputting a function or that something is equal to y. So let's say that y is equal to x. Oh, great. And here we see our f of x and the classic linear equation, y is equal to x. Whatever x is, y is. Slope of 1 crosses at the origin. Okay, good. Now, I'll add, let's add to this. So I come up to the upper left where I'm editing, and let's say x plus 5. Oh, and now we see the line moves up to 5, right? Oh, that's our b, slope of 1. Oh, great. So let's try minus 5. Let's see what happens now. Oh, just as we would expect, down to minus 5 as our b and slope of 1. Oh, great. Let's try out. Let's go back to, let's say plus 3. Okay, great, it goes up. But now let's have a negative x. Oh, look at this, just what I would expect. Right, we now have a negative slope, and the line still crosses at 3 and the negative 1. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so we have the sense of how a linear equation works in GeoGebra. Now let's move to our exponentials and our quadratics. Let's put in x squared. Now the way we input this in GeoGebra is we type in an x, and then it's that pointy symbol above the 6. I'm not sure exactly what that's called, but it's the pointy, so a pointy thing, and then 2. And that, in computer language, the computer understands that as x squared. So we type it in, and here we see up x squared, and oh, and here is our f of x is x squared. Oh, so that's great. Now, let me edit and say, how about plus 5? X squared plus 5. What happens now? Oh, look at that. My curve shifts up to 5. That's now, my minimum is now at 0, 5. Oh, okay. Let's do minus 5 and see what happens. X squared minus 5. Oh, look at that. My curve shifts down to negative 5. Oh, that's great. Okay, super. Okay, now let's try this. Let's add it. Let's keep this one, but let's just come back and have our x squared again. Let's have we'll add another line. Oh, this is great. Now I have g of x, and that's x squared. So that the system allows me to have more than one line, and so I can do multiple things. Let's try this. Let's say what happens if instead of positive x squared, I have negative. Now what happens? Oh, look at that. My line flips. Let's bring that one back, and let's do that with our, let's bring that one back. There we go. Good, good, okay. And negative x squared. That should flip. Oh, and it does. Awesome. Okay. So now we're getting a sense of what could happen. So let's take a we'll remove g of x. Let's keep with our f of x. And for the moment, now we have f of x minus 5. Let's do this. x squared minus 5. Let's do this. Let's just have, let's have x plus 5 squared. Now what happens? Oh, so the curve moves over here. F of x moves over here. Huh. My minimum is now at -5. Oh, now I see that, right? -5 plus 5 is 0. Oh, okay, that makes sense. What happens if it's plus 5? Well, then it should, minus 5. Then it should go the other way, because then we need, oh, and it does. Like x is, right, positive 5 minus 0. X is 0. Oh, that's great. Wow. Now what happens if I put my negative sign in? Does it, like we did before? It flips it. Wow. All right. Now what happens? Okay, we'll go back with x minus 5. Well, now what happens if I put the negative sign inside the parenthesis by the x? Now what happens? Oh, it moves over to the right. Oh, well, that's because really functionally, right? Functionally, negative x minus 5 is the same as, right, x plus 5. We should not be surprised by that. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Now, what happens if instead of, here, let's just go back to our x squared. Let's go back to our x squared. We'll say x squared. Here we have our x squared. Now instead of x squared, let's have 2x squared. What's going to happen now? Oh, it gets narrower. Oh, and that makes sense because I'm multiplying everything by 2. Oh, let's put in 20x squared. That should be really narrow. Oh, and it is. Well, then let's go the other way. Let's put in a fraction. Instead of 2x squared, let's have it be 1/3 x squared. Wow, and it gets wide. Now, let's put in a negative sign. Before that flipped it. Does it still flip it? It does. Oh, this is great. Okay, so I'm getting a sense of what is possible. Okay, super. Now, let's bring the parentheses back. And we'll put a parenthesis around this. We have 1/3 x negative. Whoa. So we see that, oh, okay, so because x is a, right, that makes sense. Instead of x squared, it's 1/3. Oh, wow. Well, I'm hoping that you'll work on these on your phone and try some of these graphs and explore and play around a bit and see what happens. Let's do one last one. Let's do one last one. What happens if we, well, let's keep this here. Let's just keep our x squared. And let's try, well, let's try something else. Let's try x to the 4th. What's that look like? Oh, wow. So this U-shaped thing. How about how about how about the square root of x? Wow, that's SQ for square, RT for root, and we'll just put in x, square root of x. Wow. All right, I'm going to stop here and hope you're having fun trying this on your phone with GeoGebra. Again, if you need the software, the link is on Blackboard in class materials. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to talking with you in class.